All right, guys, today we're going to teach you how to replace a battery like a professional. Let's get into it. Battery replacement. Sounds simple, right? You can go to the parts store, they'll just put a battery in it for you. That actually is kind of going away more and more. Parts stores are shying away from a lot of battery replacements. An example would be this BMW over here. Batteries in the trunk. Not terribly difficult to get to, but you replace that battery, you have to program it into the car. Car needs to know you put a new battery in it. If you don't do that, you're just going to be putting another battery in it, another battery in it, another battery in it. You know, the Volkswagens, there was several years of Volkswagens, quite a while actually. If you took the battery loose and put it back on, the car would start up and shut right back off again. You had to relearn the throttle, and that took something more than just a standard tool back in the day, a standard scan tool back in the day. Parts stores didn't know that until they started doing them. We had parts stores tow us in several of those things for us to fix it. And it wasn't the end of the world to fix it because we had the right equipment, but it would have been a whole lot easier for the client to know that before they were stuck at the parts store. This is becoming more and more common for these kind of things to happen. And then we get into the aspects of memory, right? Well, you know, this is I don't even know what year this vehicle is, honestly. It's a Ford Ranger, classic Ford Ranger, great truck. Love these things. This is when this car was made, my eyes were a lot better. It's like an 03 Ranger. And not a whole lot to this. There's a radio. It's got radio stations, right? We're going to need to, have those. And then there's an automatic down on the window. That might have to be reset. I did take the radio stations and write down the FMs. The AMs didn't have anything pre-programmed in, but the FM did. This is something that needs to be done, but it gets way more complicated than this. Again, you can get into some vehicles where here's a laundry list of items that have to be reset. Windows have to be relearned. Sunroofs sometimes will have to be relearned. Of course, there's clocks and radio stations. Seat memories might need to be relearned. Those are real fun. I mean, you think about it from a perspective of a vehicle owner. You get in the vehicle as a shop, and maybe not so much as a DIYer because it's going to be your vehicle that you're going to do. But if you're a shop, you get in that vehicle and I'm only, 5'9". One of my guys gets in it that's 6'2". He moves the seat back, gets it where, he can get in and out of it, drives it around, takes the battery loose. You've lost the seat memory. You lost it anyway, but it's not even in the position that the client brought it in with. The best practice there would be to at least hit, seat position 1, have it in that position, and then when you put the battery in, go ahead and get it back to that position again. Hopefully it just will stay there, and then memorize that again, because seat positions are something that people can feel. I mean, you can feel that thing if you've moved it that far. And sometimes it takes people a while to get those seat positions where they want them. So there's a lot to replacing a battery, and that is even before we start talking about getting the battery out of the vehicle, right? How are we going to know what all needs to be done? Look up service information. Find it for your vehicle, what needs to be done with the battery when you replace the battery. Is there some special procedures that need to happen either during the replacement or before the replacement or after the replacement? You're going to find that a lot of newer vehicles, there's going to be something. Yes, there are what we call maintainers, right? Battery maintainers that are memory savers that you can hook up to the vehicle. Sometimes they'll hook up to the battery cables and you'll take them off and they'll stay there. Sometimes you'll go into the DLC, the diagnostic connector under the dashboard. You'll connect to that, and it will have basically a little battery pack, and it will save the memory in the vehicle. Some of them will put it in the cigarette lighter, just something to keep a very low amperage, still 12 volts, but a low amperage signal going through the car, circuit going through the car, to maintain all of that. We used to do that all the time. This one would be a perfect candidate for that. Would definitely not hurt anything to do it on this car. But as cars got newer and newer and newer, we started to have more problems with that. You're putting that through, you're basically feeding power through a circuit that wasn't designed to feed power to the car. The vehicle with all the modules in it. There's a lot of computers in a lot of these cars. they're pulling more amps than really that circuit was designed to pull. You start popping fuses, and it just became a problem. So I had to get away from doing that. And a lot of vehicle manufacturers will specify do not have some type of battery saver on it. So again, now you got to know what's got to be reset. And all this stuff takes time to do. So when a shop quotes you to replace a battery, if it seems to be high, it might be because there's a whole lot of stuff going on. Now let's take a look at this battery. This one's obviously in pretty bad condition here. There's a lot of crusties here, a lot of buildup on the battery, corrosion. And we've got to get rid of all of that, obviously, before we can put another battery in. But even if it's not this dirty, you're going to want to do some steps here to make sure that you get a good connection that's a permanent connection. Now, this one, you can see it in several of our other videos. I've mentioned it. I'm not a fan of these battery cable ends. They are temporary battery cable ends. They were never designed to be a permanent repair. This one, I'm just going to show you if this was a good battery terminal end, but it was this dirty. I'm going to show you how to clean it up so that you can then use that on your vehicle if you don't have one. If you just got a battery cable end like this, you can clean it up and make it where it's still good, and we'll still make a good connection. We're going to need some tools, and we're going to need some very easy chemicals to clean this up with. So let me get that stuff ready. Here's the secret sauce. Get you some baking soda and dump it into a cup. Don't be shy. Okay. You can always add more water to it later. All right. I like to use hot water, so we're going to change this to hot.
You don't have to use that thing. You have to dispense it on the other side. Put your hand... Nope, it's cold now. It's changed.
Got it. I usually just go in the sink in there. But this is pretty hot water though. I will tell you, you guys see me a lot. I get yelled at a lot for not wearing safety glasses. Use safety glasses when you're doing a battery. My brother-in-law, actually, a very, very long time ago, he was working at a shop that I worked at, putting a battery in a vehicle. It was gassing out, which means that the gases that are in the battery were kind of coming out of the battery. And he went to disconnect the battery, it arced, and the battery blew up on him, and it blew up right in his face. So he's okay, no harm done, but there could have been some harm done. We're gonna make sure we wear safety glasses. I'm gonna be dealing with acids and stuff, so just put some gloves on. And then let's go down the list here of things that would be handy to have. You're gonna need some way to clean the battery posts. Old tried and true, been around for a long time. We're probably going to end up using that one. These are for going into a like a buzz gun, a bit gun. Put them in there, cleans the posts, quick and easy. Another good option. These are a little more aggressive. They actually cut the metal away from the battery post and from the battery terminal. I mean, if you've got something that's really, really pitted and bad, just be careful because you can make them where they don't actually tighten down anymore. We've got our 8mm wrench that's going to go for the one side, and then we've got some battery. These are battery pliers, and that's because the other side's pretty tore up. Let me go ahead, unhook this from and roll this over. A nice mixed, and then I'm gonna pour it on here, so you don't actually have to. If you had a dirty battery cable ends, but the battery was okay, and you just wanted to clean it up, this is a really good way to do it. Just take it and just pour some on there, and it's going to do its thing. You don't have to do that on this battery. I don't really need to clean all of it off the battery or replacing it, but it does sometimes make it easier to get the battery terminal ends off. Also, we're probably going to find a crack right there just because of the way that's reacting, but we'll see. But now at least we can see the nut over here. And don't be shy about it, put it on there. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, you can use Coke for this. You probably can use Coke. I mean Coca-Cola. I don't know that I've personally ever used it, but I've heard it being used, and I've seen it used on other things to clean stuff up. But this is definitely not going to be as sticky. When you're disconnecting the battery, always disconnect the negative first. This is how I always say it. The negative is going to make and break the connection. You think about the electrical system in this vehicle as a circle, and so we negative all the way through to positive, or positive all the way through to negative, however you want to think about it. You're breaking and making the connection with the negative. The other thing, just as a real safety thing here, don't take your wrench and lay it on the battery, right, and be doing other stuff. If you're working on the car, it's very easy for that to come across here, touch those two, and that could turn into a really bad day. So let's go ahead, get this off. Now at this point, remember, you've already looked up, seen what you got to do, got your codes, whatever you have to do. Sometimes you have to have your radio codes and stuff. Make sure you got all that, because once you've disconnected it, you've committed. And look at there, that thing just absolutely disintegrated. Here's pieces on the nut, right? There's the nut, broke it in half. So, no big deal. Now, if you had this battery cable, and you're like, well, I don't want to replace it, for whatever reason, I mean, I'm gonna say to replace it, but you can get the replacement bolt and nut if you wanted to go that route. We're going to take the hold down, so there's going to be some type of hold down for the battery. It could be over the top with a couple of 10 millimeter nuts on it. It could have big bolts through there, whatever. Hold down. Somehow there's going to be some hold down. Well, this one obviously doesn't work very well. I'm going to take it out anyway. Let's get this out of the way. All right. Be sure you clean this up. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just like if you're doing an air filter, clean the air filter box. This is kind of muddy. This is going to take me a minute to get this. All right, let me show you how to clean these. I'm going to replace this one. I just can't stand it. But let me show you how you would clean it if you were going to keep it. And obviously that negative one is okay. I'm just going to take this, and this is might fling up on the camera. And we're looking for a nice, shiny surface. Generally don't go back and forth, just one direction will do it. If you go back and forth, your brush won't last very long. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's say you're gonna, like, this is just metal, where this is like a lead, which is a metal too, but let's say if you want to clean this one up, you can go in with the brush and do that, and you can see that's comes out pretty clean. That's what you're looking for, where the connection is made on the battery itself. Now, here's another thing that people don't do. They think, oh, it's a brand new battery. Before you put this battery in, take the caps off. That sounds simple. We've literally seen a vehicle come in here and the caps be on and the post be, the cable ends be put down on top of these. You're going to want to clean these up. They look brand new, I understand that, but just give them a little real quick clean up. And that's just going to give you a nice fresh connection. Nice fresh connection for the cable ends. All right, we're going to need to get this tray cleaned up a little bit. I'm going to get a battery cable end for this. This is going to be a little bit difficult just because of the, I'm going to have to reuse the cables that are in here. I'm not going to be able to cut this at all. It barely will fit now, but I'm going to have to replace this. I'm going to get this cleaned up, get that replaced. We're going to be right back. Real quick bonus tip. If you have a vehicle that sits for a long time, so for us here, we have military that go out to sea for a couple of months at a time. We have snowbirds, I guess you might call them, that live up north for 6 or 8 months, and then they come down here for a few months, and they have a vehicle here and they have a vehicle there. If you have one that's sitting for extended periods of time, it's a good idea to put a maintainer on the battery. Just a very small Sherwood Length one that we use. It's inexpensive. It just bolts onto the battery, actually onto the terminals. You don't have to worry about connecting it. And then we just have a plug-in, what's easy to get to, and you just basically plug it into a wall outlet. And it will just keep that battery topped off. You won't charge it up or anything from dead, but it will just keep it topped off over a long period of time. That way you come back, you unplug it, you tuck your cord away, and you're good to go. It is entirely possible, and I know I'm gonna hear about it, oh, I've left my car sit for however long and it starts up. I get that. We got this Ford Ranger, yeah, that thing could probably sit for quite a while and it will start up. It has a very small amount of draw on it. Newer cars might have a little bit more on it. But here's the thing, you might let a car sit for a month and it start up, 2 months, it start up. But that battery is low. Now, what you're depending on to charge the battery up is the alternator. It was never designed to be a battery charger. You're going to take that thing out, you're going to drive it, who knows how far you're going to drive it. Yeah, you might charge the battery up, and maybe you've damaged the alternator or shortened its life, and you might take a short trip. I go, oh, it starts up fine, take it for a couple of miles and come back, and then the battery's definitely not charged, and then you're just fighting that low charge over and over and over again. So it's just a good idea. If you're going to have one sit, just put a little maintainer on it. It's inexpensive insurance. Hey, while you're here, how about hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and hit that thumbs up. Let's get back to the video. A couple of ways of putting battery cable ends on. Crimp style, and you can get different types of crimpers and different style crimpers, preferably one with a longer handle than this one. And you're just going to use your standard battery ends. Now be careful when you're getting these. Be sure you get the right one. See how it has a P on here? That's positive. There is a difference between the positive and the negative side, because the positive and the negative on the battery is a different size. This post is larger than this post. So if I put this positive one on here, see how it flops around? If I put it on here, it's snug. So be sure when you're getting your cable end, if you're replacing them, that you're getting the one for the right side of the battery. And then of course these have to be the correct size also. The crimp ones are good. I do like the crimp ones in St. Mary's. We have a much bigger crimper. We've got a little more assortment. But I've been using these for years also. This is just a solder slug. And just gonna pop that in there. We're going to take a piece of heat shrink, slide it down over, get it as far away as I can from the cable ends, because we're going to make this hot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to face these like this. I'm going to put this here, and then we're going to heat this up and let it just shrink down in there, let it fall down in there. It's hot. A few strands not going in is okay, but a bunch of strands is not good. Be sure that's in there good. It's not going anywhere. It's nice and tight. And we're going to slide our heat shrink over it. And we're just going to let that seal up around it. Obviously you're dealing with some serious heat here, so be careful. Get the inside. Okay, and let that cool off. Do not grab that. That is hot. And that's going to take just a little bit to cool off right there for sure. That's not going to be a couple of minutes. That's going to probably be a good solid 5 minutes. It's going to keep any kind of corrosion and moisture, there's you can see coming out of it, there's like a glue inside of this heat shrink. So it's going to squish around inside of there and keep any air from getting in. It's a good tight seal. It won't have any kind of, you're going to have a lot less chance of corrosion getting in the wire. You can still have corrosion on this, and we're going to address some things that people do to stop that we're not going to do on this battery. But you don't want to get corrosion to come down in that cable, because once it starts going down the cable, then we've got to start cutting the cable back, and as you can see on this one, there's not a whole lot to deal with. Next thing you know, you're splicing in or you're replacing whole harnesses. So I just ran a wire brush on this just to check for any cracks around there. I thought by the bubbling I saw something, but no cracks. This thing's good. This one's ready to go. It's all nice and tight now, no issues whatsoever. We're gonna have a good connection there. Let's move those things out of the way. Got the tray cleaned up. We're ready to go. New battery. Posts are clean, freshly cleaned.
Use a fender cover, whatever you got.
Yeah, definitely. This is the time that you can definitely damage your fender. All right, I'm gonna just be sure that's gonna fit perfectly. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. All right, so put that on there. I can leave that there for now. I'm gonna go ahead and put our hole down in. See if this is gonna. There's a way for this to go too. You see, there's 2 slots right here on this particular one. There's some bumps right here, and there's the catch for it. I think that other battery might have just been the wrong battery. That battery's in there, no issues. Wonderful. I'm gonna give this one last little clean. Oh, did not show you this. This one, before you put it on, even though it's a brand new terminal, just like the battery's brand new, right? Again, give that thing a little clean, get it shined up. You want a nice, really good connection. Notice how there's nothing under this post. I don't have one of those red and green little felt things. I do not like those, and I would not recommend them. If the battery's in good shape, charging system's in good shape, then you're okay, right? We don't want to be having something underneath here that could cause this to sit up. Yeah, I know there's all kind of things you can pull off of it. Just, if it's good, we don't need that. We don't put any grease or anything on here to stop air from getting on it, stop it from corroding. What causes it to corrode is gases from the battery come out, and that's what they attach, and they start to corrode around these terminals. We want to see that, because if that's happening, something's either going on with the battery or something's going on with the charging system. Make sure that and I'm going to actually open this one up just a little bit more. Make sure the post, it sits proud of the terminal. So it's got to sit up above the terminal just a little tiny bit. All right, you can use your battery pliers or get you your wrench for that. Give them a snug down, not moving. This is going to make our connection now.
How tight should they be making? How tight should they be tightening these?
You just gotta tighten them down where. I don't know that there's a torque. I'm sure there's a torque spec for these, but that's one thing I've never torqued in my life. Just kind of get a good feel for it. You don't need to kill it. If it's either gonna close, it's either gonna tighten up or it's not. There you go. That's nice. Sitting proud again, all the way down. That's good. Now, what do you want to check for? First of all, we definitely want to test our charging system with a new battery. So you're going to want to get a little battery tester or charging system tester. You can pick them up anywhere. Top Don's got some. I think we've got a link for one of them or something, sure, don't we, or something?
I'll link everything in the description.
Get that little tester, hook it across here, run through the system test. You don't want to put a new battery in and find out that the alternator is marginal or not good, and then you're right back in the same boat again. If the battery's going dead overnight, something like that, well, before you hook that negative post up, go ahead and run a draw test on it. And that can take some time for some vehicles, depending on what the vehicle is, but go ahead and do that. Look up the spec for that. Those are all, we have other videos on that stuff. But that should be part of the process of replacing this battery. What caused the battery to go bad? It more than likely, it's just age of the battery. But if the vehicle comes in and the battery's a year old and it's bad, something happened. And we need to find that underlying cause. Otherwise, we're just going to be a year later and another battery being put in it. If it's for us, batteries tend to last 3 to 4 years here just because of the weather. You know, if it's that old, more than likely it's just the age of the battery. But these are all tests you should be doing. So little test of the alternator, make sure it's good, make sure it's charging right, check the starter, that'll be part of that test, make sure everything's good there, and then you're good to go. From there, we're gonna reset the radio. Let's go ahead. I'm curious on this vehicle. More than likely it's gonna be okay. Let's start it up. You may have to let these things idle for a while. May have to relearn their idle. You may drive them around a little bit, make sure everything's good. I want to see if the auto down feature works on this particular vehicle without having to do a memory. It does. If it doesn't, you can reset that, whatever it's going to take to reset the memory on that. It's the little things like the radio's presets and the clock that adds value to doing the job. So if you're going into a professional shop and they're quoting you something, and batteries are expensive. I mean, I get it. It's crazy how much batteries have gotten to. But it's nothing for, you know, battery replacement to be more than we think about. But all these little things play a part in it. And, you know, when shops do those things, it does make your life easier, because then you get in the vehicle, you don't have to worry about the clock, you don't have to worry about your radio presets and all this other stuff. You actually hit your sunroof and it opens and closes properly. Your windows all work. It seems like a given, but I've seen so many places that, and I'm not saying anything bad about parts stores that put batteries in, but parts stores are probably not doing that. They're taking the battery out, they're putting the battery in, and then it's up to you to get all this other stuff to work right. And it's just time. But, you know, for us, we want to make that your life easy as possible. So that's it. That's how we do a professional battery replacement. We hope you liked it. If you did, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe, then hit the bell notification, then hit the thumbs up. Doesn't cost you anything to do any of that. Doesn't cost you anything to do a comment down there. Do you do anything different? Something I left out or something that you want to just add in there? I want to hear it. I want to see it. Appreciate you watching. See you in the next one.